lot of chatter about a women's tag division and a women's tag titles. We just saw the TBS Championship crown with Jade, so congratulations to her. But we saw another tag match with the DMD and Jamie Hayter versus Riho and Ruby Soho ahead of the match on tonight's Battle of the Belts. And I think that anyone who DMD pairs up with, like, the chemistry is always there. It's there right now with the tag team. And this one, to me, tonight's match aside, I think the star of this match was Riho, and it just shows how much we missed her in AEW television, AEW programming, and all that, because she was a champion, and former champion, and kind of went away for a while, and now she sizzled back in a little bit here and there, and now she just got a title match tonight. But I was really, really impressed with her in-ring stuff as well. And I think Ruby Soho, great gimmick and all that, but I think, like, being in a stable really would flourish and shine, as we saw.
Well, that's why in WWE,
across the pond,
exactly. Across the pond, she was the leader of the Riot Squad, and it worked. And
it worked great.
There was, it kind of, things fell off after WWE broke that up. Even in Liv Morgan is now even trying to break through that ceiling on her own, and I think that Liv has a great following.
Yeah.
But Ruby really, I think you're right. Ruby shined a lot as a leader of a group, and you're seeing in AEW, Thunder Rosa, poor Thunder, talked about how everybody, having to always fight against DMD and her cronies. You do see in AEW, the landscape of this company, there's a lot of groups, a lot of teams, a lot of partnerships.
It helps get more people on TV too, with such a deep roster, but it's not overdone. And so if you have that tag team,
it also adds
division,
layers to. Yeah, it adds layers to feuds, right? It adds layers to. I've talked about it before. I love friendship-based wrestling. I love when you have those partnerships, because it mirrors real life. We're not all riding through this journey solo, brother. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
I love seeing those partnerships, and I love the drama that comes out of it. And like you talked about it, in this matchup, the DMD, as always, is kind of using her antics, and getting the better of her opponents through those things. I feel like Ruby would really benefit from being in a group. I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
And she has that spunky personality where you feel like she could be a leader, right?
Definitely, and it looks like a leader, carries herself like a leader, has that experience as one. So we're seeing more of that gang warfare of the heel side. So I feel like it's almost better if you could create a current roster stable, 3-person, Ruby +2. Who would you want in the new and improved Soho squad?
Oh man, that's so tough. Honestly, I think I think personally, if anybody needs a group right now, I think it is Thunder Rosa. I mean, when you look at, but if you're talking about Ruby,
well, when you're at the top, everyone wants to bring you down a notch,
Yes, agreed. I don't know who. I mean, honestly, when I look at the overall vibes of the characters on the show, I think that Penelope Ford and the Bunny kind of fit with Ruby, even though they're heels.
You're right.
They kind of have that edge to them. But who stands out to you, brother? I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. I think that there's not a lot of people who match her energy right now, and that edge. But to me, Penelope kind of has that similar like rock star vibe to her. I don't know.
Right.
The one thing is for sure, the women's division is starting to get a lot of layers to it, and that's one of the things that you called for at the beginning of 2021.
Yeah.
And now we had it. That's one of the things that stands out to me the most, watching the AEW product right now in 2022, the beginning of 2022, how far the women's division has come. This was a great tag match.
I got one I think you might like. I would put Sky Blue with her.
Oh, that's good. I know you're very
backwards hat, Converse, kind of like. So that would be.
I like that idea. That's a good call. Sky Blue kind of has that plucky underdog vibe to her, and you throw, like you said, you throw a backwards cap on her and some Converse, she could totally fit. I like that idea.
Yeah.
The one thing I came away from this tag match is, man, honestly, all 4 of these women are world championship contenders, right? Britt is obviously the champ, but I could see Jamie Hayter as a champion. Right. I could see Ruby as a champion, and obviously Riho was our first champion. So it's just showing more and more that these women are as as the tide rises, all ships rise,
That's
right?
right.
And you're starting to see that happen over and over again in the women's division. Think about it. Penelope Ford and the Bunny, how elevated they're getting right now. Ty Conti and Anna Jay, that tandem. Yeah. We're seeing over and over and over again great examples of the women's division really coming up and raising the stakes and really, I mean, setting the bar. A lot of these shows, the women's division they're stealing segments, brother. Serena Deeb and Sheeta. Right. I mean, there's so many examples of these women now absolutely crushing it. The guys better be on notice, man. That's all I'm going to say, man. The AEW's women division for how many stones the internet wrestling community threw at the AEW's women's division in its infancy. It is so cool to be a part of the AEW team here, how much we love that company and that product, to see how far it's come and to see how many women are really breaking through and connecting with the fans, man. It's pretty awesome.
You're right, man. That was one of my biggest, because I had high expectations. And so that was one of my biggest, when we were doing elites and deletes, it was, I wanted so much more, and I'm getting more. And then it's exceeding all my, any expectations. And, I don't have the bar set high, but they are just on top of it, man.